Good afternoon and welcome to the ByME webinar, Digital Resources for Primary Science. Today's webinar will be a very practical session focused on giving support to the users of ByME Primary Science. Our speaker today is Bernardo Morales, ByME Educational Consultant and Teacher Trainer. Bernardo has been involved in English language teaching for over 10 years in schools in Costa Rica, Poland, Hungary, Scotland, China, and Spain. This session will be divided into two parts. The first 45 minutes, we will focus on a digital platform walkthrough where Bernardo will explain and show its main features. After that, we will dedicate some 15 minutes to answering questions. Thanks again for coming, and without any further ado, here is Bernardo. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me well? Well, thank you very much for coming. I hope that you're having a wonderful day. As Maida said, today we're going to be looking at the ByME digital platform. Because we've got quite a few things to go through today, we're going to start just now, okay? So first of all, you've got on, I think, the right-hand side of your screen, you've got a chat option. So if you want to, if you have any questions at any point, just write your questions, or if you want to just send a comment or anything, you're more than welcome to write anything that you would like. And also, I would like to know if any of you have used the digital platform before. So I'm going to send a little poll. I think you can see it. So if you can click yes or no, that would be great. Okay, I can see that quite a few people have used it and a few people haven't. Okay, so today we're going to be going through everything inside the digital platform, including using it on an iPad or on a tablet. And yeah, so let's start. I'm going to be sharing my screen now. Just bear with me for a second. Okay. So the first thing is to use a digital platform, go to digital.bilingualbyme.com. And here you can register. If you're a teacher or whether you're a teacher or a student, you can register by clicking here on this button here, register here, okay? So here you can choose whether you're a teacher or a student, as I said before. So let's choose teacher because we're teachers. Let's click on next. And here you have your personal information. So you write here your name, your ID number. Here you write your email address. Now, ideally, write a real email address just in case you forget your password. This will be the only way you can retrieve it. And then here you type your password, yeah, and click on agree to the terms and conditions. Okay, so in the next section, you can choose your school, right? So you can find your school by either typing in the postcode of the school or the name of the school. So just for the for this demo, let's just choose a random school here in Madrid. Click on next. Now here, if you already have a book code, like the license code for the book, you can add it here. Or alternatively, you can do it later, right? So for this demo, we're going to be doing it later. Now, we're going to be looking in a second at how to make a class. So if your teacher has already made a class, if a teacher has made a class and the teacher has shared the code with the students and the students have the code, they can add it here. Otherwise, click on next as well. Yeah, and this is basically the main menu of the digital platform. So here you have a few options, right? You have here my books, where you'll be able to see all the books that you have activated. In the case of my account, because this is an internal account, you can see that I've activated quite a few books, but normally teachers will only have the books that they would have activated for their classes, right? Now you have a button here on the, let me just see if I can zoom in, here on the kind of bottom right corner of the screen that says add book. So if you click on this, then you'll be able to add another book. So let's click on it, and here you'll be adding a new license. Yeah. Now let me just put this at 100% again. Great. Now, when you're in this main menu, you can always see where you are because the tab that's active is always longer than the other tabs. Yeah. So in this case, we're in my books. So this tab is longer than my classes or my track records or offline option, etc. Right. So here in my classes, here you can create a class and share the code with your students. It's just as simple as clicking here on add class. Then you assign a name to your class. So let's call this demo class. Create it. Now, we've got this class here. If we click on this, we have this class code here. Let me just zoom in again. So this is the code that you will have to share with your students. So when you share this code, your students will put it in, and then they'll be part of this class. Yeah, simple as that. Now you've got this other option here called my track records. What we do here we can see what our students have done in the interactive exercises of the book. We'll be looking at this section a little bit more in depth later after we've seen all the interactive activities. Now here we've got an offline option. So here you can download an offline version of the digital platform for Windows, Mac, or Linux, but also there is a version for iOS, a version for Chromebooks, and a version for Android. Yeah. So I know that it's not very common nowadays that we don't have an internet connection, an active internet connection. But in some schools, perhaps just in case the internet goes off or anything, it might be worth it to have an offline option. Yeah. The other thing is that in the case of tablets, they're not always connected to the internet. For example, I have an iPad that only has Wi-Fi connection. So if I'm on the go, then I like to have an offline option of the book. And I'm just going to show you very quickly what it looks like. So as you can see here, I've got my iPad, right? So I'm going to try to share the screen of my app. So just 1 second. Let me see if I can do that. Right. So as you can see here, I have my iPad and I have downloaded the app from the App Store. So it would look like this. So if I click on this, I can see that the application is synchronizing. So it's downloading the books that I have activated. So here I have activated the same license that you saw online, which means that you'll be able to see the same books. So if I kind of scroll down, you can see that I've got all these licenses. Now, in the case of this iPad, I've downloaded the books, these ones, like the ones that don't have the cloud. Yeah. Now, if I click on one of the books that have a cloud, like that little icon, then you would download the book to your device. Yeah. Which means that you would be able to use it when you're not connected to the internet. Now, each time you connect to the internet, you've got this option here called sync, where you can synchronize all your data. And what that does basically is you'll be able to synchronize what your students have done and also any other licenses that you might have activated. Apart from that, the offline option is exactly the same. So if we, for example, open here Natural Science 3, which is the one that we're going to be looking at today, we've got the same menu here. You've got your students book, my community, learning kit, etc. If we open the book, as you can see here, you can, well, it looks exactly the same as the online version, including having like a page spread or kind of zooming in to the different parts of the book. Yeah. Now, as I said, this is particularly useful if you have a tablet and if you're kind of on the go like me. So there you go. So that's the offline option. Let me show you here more. Okay. So as I said before, you can download it for Android, for Chromebooks, or for any operating system of the major operating systems. Yeah. Now we've got here this option called My Profile. So here you can change your account information. So if you want to change your password, you can do it here. Or school details, or more importantly here, access codes. Here you can see the licenses that you have activated in your account, and you can see the activation date and the expiration date. So sometimes licenses have last for about 2 years. So after 2 years, if you try to open a book, you might get an error, and that might be because your license has expired. So if that ever happened, you can go to this option and you can see whether your license has expired or not. If it has, you will see that these the color of the letters here will have changed from black to gray. Yeah, but as I said here, just to zoom in, you can see here the expiration dates. Let's zoom out. Okay, right. Let me just see if there are any comments in the chat. Any questions? Okay. Hello, everybody. Good. Brilliant. So let's go into the digital book. So if you click here, if you click on My Books, and then you choose Natural Science 3, which is the one that we're going to be looking at today, you will see that you will get a few options. Okay, so you have the students book here. You've got My Community, Learning Kit, Teacher's Kit, and Family Corner. Yeah, so if we open the students book, the pupils book, we've got here a few options. Yeah. Now you've got here this hamburger menu on the left-hand side. Then you've got these tools available here on the top right corner. And then you've got these arrows here. And here you've got an icon that basically connects the digital book to Google Classroom. I think maybe the little thumbnail, yes, it's covering that. So let me just change the position of the thumbnail here. Okay. So here you've got this little icon that connects the book to Google Classroom. Now this is new. So now if you're using Google Classroom with your groups, you'll be able to link the material from the book with your classes. So we're going to be looking at that in a second as well. So, but first, let's look at how we can navigate the book. So if you open this menu here, you get this little sub menu where you can go to the different sections of the book. So let's click here on interaction, and here you can go to all the different parts of the unit. Or if you click on resources, you can also quickly access other parts of the digital product. Yeah. So let's click on interaction here. And now we're here on Unit 1. This would be the first page of the book. Yeah. Here we can also navigate the pages. So we can use these arrows here to go backwards or forwards. Yeah. And we also have this kind of tool menu here on the top right corner, right? And we've got these buttons here. So this one here, I don't know if you can see it well. Let me just zoom in. This one here is called the Interaction Enabler. Yeah. So what that button does is that it tells you which exercises are interactive and which exercises are not. So if we click on it here, we can see that this exercise here is interactive. This one doesn't require interaction, so it's not interactive, and so on and so forth. So if we click on this one here, for example, you can see that then the students would be able to do these exercises in this way, right? Now, in this case, for example, you see here that there is this is listening exercise. So if you click on this, you will be able, you get here a little player, right? So if you click on this, it will start playing the audio. I don't know if you can hear the audio, probably not. And here you can answer the questions, and you can check your answers, you can see the answers, or you could try again. Yeah. In the case of the students, they won't be able to see the answers straight away, but they will be able to check their answers and to try again. We're going to be looking at that in a few moments as well. Okay, so you've got that. Then you've got this little pencil icon, which is basically a tools icon. And here you have access to all these different tools. The first one, this is a pen tool. Yeah, you can use to take notes. It's particularly useful if you're using an interactive whiteboard in your class. Let me just erase this. This is the eraser. We use this to erase, obviously. Okay. Otherwise, it will save my note. Okay. Now we also have this highlighter. So this works in order to highlight text. Yeah. Again, we can erase it here. Now let me see if I can go forward so I can show you the next tool with a different piece of material. Okay, this is great. So here we've got this text button here, and what this does, you can add a note. Yeah. So if you say here, this is a note, you would be adding a note. Now, if you click on save, now this note would be you would have saved this note, and you would be able to access the to see the note next time you log into the system as well. Yeah. Or you can delete the note by clicking here, delete. Now we've got these two options here. This option is to highlight content. Yeah, so we can choose the content that we want to highlight. Then if we go to the bottom right corner, we can resize it. Yeah, and we can use this in order to have our students focus on a particular content and not get distracted by the rest of the material in the book. Alternatively, you've got this other option, which is to hide content. And this option is particularly useful, well, first, if you want to hide anything in particular, or if you want to do any kind of prediction exercise. So, for example, here we have a little comic, yeah? So you could cover the last one, and you could have your students, for example, decide how they think this story might end, right? So then you could have all the different versions, and then your students could compare their option to the original option, for example, yeah? So you can do that with this option. If we, again, just to show you this again, if you activate the interaction enabler, you can see here that now this activity has been highlighted, which means that we can interact with it. And if we click on it, then we will be able to do it, yeah? Okay. Now we've got this little I button, and of course this is to change the view, how we can see the material. We've got these options here. We can do the one-page view, which basically will show you one page. Then we have this one, which is a page spread. Yeah, so this is particularly useful if you're kind of setting homework and you want for your students to be able to see 2 pages at the same time. Or you've got this option, which is probably the most useful, and it's fit to screen. So it will fit the material to the width of your screen. Yeah, of course, you can always zoom in and zoom out by clicking on these 2 buttons here. Yeah, so it's probably the most useful because then they can see the content pretty well. Now, as I mentioned before, now we have integration with Google Classroom, which this is a new feature that was introduced about a few weeks ago. So if you click on this button here, you'll be able to activate Google Classroom. So this is just to show you, yeah. So you can choose your class, let's say demo class, and you can choose the actions. So you can create a task, you can ask a question, you can make an announcement, or you can create material. So if we create a task, for example, here, we click on this and we click on go. We can resize this window so you can see it a little bit better. So here we can add a title. This is a title, for example, instructions. And you can decide whether this is for all the students or just some students in particular. You can assign points. You can assign a deadline. You can assign a theme, etc. So just create task. And then your students will be able to see this in their Google Classroom. So let's just have a quick look. Okay, so this is the task that I've created. The instructions are here, and this will be the link to that particular section of the book where we created this task. Great. Now, finally, we've got this option here where you can, again, for navigation, you can go directly to a specific page. So, for example, you can click here, maybe page 55, and you'll be going straight to page 55. Yeah. Or you can search by word. For example, let's type plants. And then here you see all the results, all the different instances of the word plants in the book. So here, for example, we would be going straight to the index of the book. So there you go. Yeah. So that would be just a quick walk through the digital students book. So that would be the previous book. Now we've got this option here, My Community. We'll be looking at that in a few minutes. We've got this option, Learning Kit. So now all students will have access to all these different sections. Yeah, I'm going to be showing you a little bit later what it looks like from a student account. But basically, they'll have access to all these different parts. Yeah. So first we have interactive content activities. So these are the activities that they get from the book, right? So when we activated the interaction enabler, we saw that there were a few activities that got highlighted. Now they can do the activities straight from the page of the book, or they could use the interactive content activities in order to access those activities. So for example, if we choose this one, they can play the listening, they can do the exercise, and then later we can see how many times they've attempted to a particular exercise and the answers that they wrote, and we'll be able to send them messages as well. Yeah. Now we've got this option here. Let me just have a quick look at the chat to see if you guys have any questions so far. I think so far so good. Excellent. Right. So we've got this option here, interactive language activities. Now, this is very similar to interactive content activities. The only difference is that instead of dealing with the actual content of the book, we deal with language-specific exercises. Yeah. So, for example, if we click on this one, we'll get an exercise that has to do with good at. And you can see the last time I tried this exercise, I got all the answers right. So that's pretty good. And in one attempt, there you go. Anyways, so you can try again And all you have to do in this particular one is just drag the answers and fill in the gaps. Yeah. So as I said, these exercises are to do with language. Yeah. Now we've got this option, and it's called flashcards. And here you have flashcards which are linked to the different topics of the book. So if we open this one, for example, interaction, you get a few flashcards that have to do with how we interact with the world around us. So we can see here a photograph. Then there is a little speaker here. If you click on it, then you will be able to hear the term. And if you click on the photograph, then you will be able to see the term. Yeah. Now here, for example, you can again see the photograph, and if we click on it, we can see the term. Yeah. We've got 11 words in this particular set of flashcards. Yeah. Now we have this option on the top right corner called play a game. If we click on it, we've got a few options. First is image search, choose the word and label the image. These are 3 different games that our students can play in order to review the vocabulary in the set of flashcards. Or alternatively, you can click on random game, and then the system will automatically choose one of these ones for you to play. So if we click on image search, for example, we have to choose hard. So I don't know, probably this one. No, oops, continue. Smell. Let's just randomly choose anything. I didn't get very lucky. My random choices here. Whoa, I got one right. Got one right. And there you can see the score here. You can see the amount of correct answers or incorrect answers. And you can also try again. Yeah, so that's great. Now in choose the word is very similar. You get to see the photograph, and you have to choose the correct term, for example. Yeah, etc. And in the last one, you get to label the image. So here you would have to write the term. Yeah, so for example, paste on. Now the term has to be exactly the same as what it is in the set of flashcards. Okay, so that's great. So that's flashcards. Now, one great thing about this particular option is that you can also create your own flashcards. Yeah, so again, I think I'm going to have to move the little thumbnail. Just bear with me for a second. Okay. Here. Okay. So now, as you can see on the bottom right corner, I've got this little icon here that has a plus sign. So if you click on this, you can create your own set. And there are 2 options that you have. In the first option, you can create a set using your own images. So, for example, if you've seen or language that just comes up in the classroom, you can create your own sets of flashcards by clicking on this option. Or you can create a set of flashcards using the pictures that come built in the system, right? So, for example, if you see that in the first 3 units, there are only a few terms or a few words that your students are struggling with, then you can create a set of flashcards combining all of the words that that you want. Yeah, but for this session, let's create our own set. Yeah, so here you can add, you can set a name. So let's call it instruments, because we've been talking about instruments in class. Now you double click here to add an image. So let's go to instruments here. I've got these images here that I downloaded previously. These are words that came up in my class. So let's double click here on drum kit. So we got a drum kit, and here we can label the image. Here I want to add a piano. So let's click on the piano. So now we've got these 2 buttons here. So basically here we can record the word, so our students will be able to hear how that particular term is pronounced. So I'm going to do that now. Drum kit. So as you can see, by clicking here on the microphone, you start recording, and by clicking on the other icon, you stop the recording. Here you can check to see if it sounds okay. You probably can't hear it, but I can hear it, and it sounds okay to me. So let's click on OK. And now let's click on save. So that's great. So now we've got this set of flashcards here. Now I would like for my class to be able to access this set of flashcards. So if we click on these 3 dots here, I can share with, and these are classes that I have previously made. So I want to share it with my Natural Science 3 class. So I'm just going to click on share now. And now all the students who are in that particular class will have access to these flashcards. Yeah. So if I want to add more flashcards to this set, I just click on the three dots, click on edit, and here I can add more images. So let's add one more. Let's add a guitar. Yeah, and let's click on save. Now our students will have access to these images. Just to show you very quickly what it would look like, we're going to be going back and forth here. So this is a student account. So if I log into the student's account, I can go into Natural Science 3. Then I can go into flashcards. And now I can see that this student has access to this set of flashcards that we made. Here, if I click here, you'll be able to hear the term. Yeah, you have the piano, and you have the guitar. Yeah, so that is from the student's account. So that is flashcards. Now in presentations, you get a little presentation which will give you an overview of the content that will be seen in the unit. Yeah, so if you click here and enter, here you get, it's kind of a slide presentation. So if you click on play here, you can hear a recording of the text that is above the picture. And then if you click on the arrow here, you'll go to the next slide. Now, if we go to Family Corner, I will show you very shortly, you'll be able to see these presentations in English and in Spanish as well. So families have access to this kind of overview. Yeah. Now we have songs. So these are a few songs that have to do with the topics of the units. We've got two versions of the songs. We have one version with words and one karaoke version, which is a sing-along version. You can click on the song, and then an audio player will open. Then you can also download the MP3 file by clicking here on the little arrow. Or alternatively, you can, if we go into songs again, you can click on download all, and then you'll get a zip file with all the songs of all the different units, just in case you want to save it in your server. Okay, so that's songs. Now, if you click on multimedia, here you will see a collection of links that have to do with the content of the unit. So, for example, if we click on this one here, Unit 1, we'll be able to see this website, which is Kids Health, and you'll be able to see all the different parts of the body, for example. Now, this is the only thing that you won't be able to see from the offline option of the product, and basically that is because you do need internet access in order to be able to see these links, because as you could see here, it goes to external websites. Okay, and that would be Learning Kit. These are the things that our students have access to. Yeah, great. Now we've got Teacher's Kit. Before we go into Teacher's Kit, actually, I just very quickly want to go into Family Corner, since we were talking about presentations. Yeah, so if we click on presentations here, you can see that you have the presentations in English and you have them here in Spanish as well. You also have word lists. Here you have access to all the vocabulary, or the key vocabulary from all the different units, both in English and in Spanish for the parents or for the families to see. You can download them individually, or you can click on download all to download them as one zip file. And then you have these family guides as well. So basically, these are little overviews of the units. So you have here a little summary of what they're going to see. Then you see here all the key contents, the lyrics of the song, and the key vocabulary, both in English and in Spanish. Yeah. Again, you can download it individually, or you can click on download all and get a big zip file with all the PDFs to give to the families. Yeah. So now, yes, let's go into Teacher's Kit. So here you have a few options. The first one is the teacher's book, which is very important. So if we click on this, here we have access to the teacher's book as PDFs. So you can download all the different parts or all the different units individually. So for example, if we open Unit 1, we can click here on Teacher's Book, and then the Teacher's Book will, the Unit 1 will open. Yeah. And just like in the other parts, you can click on this little arrow to download the units individually, or again, if we go back, we can click on download all and download a big zip file with the teacher's book. It's pretty useful to have it as a PDF file, actually, especially because it's divided into units. In case you want to have it on a pen drive, or if you want to have it in your server, then it's easier to access it than having to log into the digital platform each time you want to see something from the teacher's book. Now we have this section, the methodology section. So here we have a few documents. We have the syllabus. So if we click on this, we can see a PDF of the syllabus for all the different units. Just like before, you can download them individually, or you can click on download all to download them in one go. You have all the letters for the families, both in English and in Spanish. And you have this section on the methodological approach. So this would be kind of, it talks a little bit about bilingual education, etc. It's the introduction of the teacher's guide. Great. Again, we have word lists, which is the same as we just saw in Family Corner. Now we've got these worksheets as well, and these are PDF files that you can give your students when these are extra worksheets that you can give, for example, to fast finishers, and or if you like them and you want to use them as extra pieces of material, you can always do that. Again, you can download them individually, or you can click here on download all, and you will be able to download all of them as one zip file. Now here in lyrics, you have all the lyrics of the songs that we saw previously in the previous section. Now we have access to multimedia, which is the same as the students. It's the same as the students' access. And now we have these two options here. And these are very important options. We have 360-degree evaluations, and we have the test generator. So when we click on 360-degree evaluations, we get different kinds of tests that we have available for our students. Of course, it's up to each school to see whether they use these tests or not, but they're here for you to use if you would like to. So first, you have a diagnostic test. You have the answer key as well, the solution. You have self-evaluation, cooperative learning evaluation as well, if you decide to use cooperative learning, end of unit tests and the answer keys, evaluation grid, and the teacher's logbook. Yeah, so let's just open one so you can see what it looks like. These are PDF files, yeah, which you can download as before, individually by clicking on the arrow, or all together by clicking on download all. Yeah, we have this for all the units and the terms. So you have an end of term test, project evaluation if you want to use projects, and a logbook as well. So that's 360-degree evaluations. Now we have this option as well called the test generator. So when we click on this option, now we can create our own custom test in just 4 steps. Yeah. So we can assign our test a name. So let's say demo. And here we can decide what units we would like to include in the tests. Yeah. So let's say, just for the sake of this demo, let's choose unit 1. And let's click on continue. Now, in the second step, you get to add the questions that are pre-made for you. Yeah. So you've got all these questions for unit 1. And there are 2 ways to add this to add questions. You can add them individually. You can click on view as well if you want to see the question, yeah, and the answers. Hide. So individually, or you can add all and then kind of deactivate the ones that you don't want to include in your test, which is what I normally do. Yeah. Then click on continue. So the third step is to personalize the test. So here what you can do is you can change the order of the questions. So to do that, all you need to do is click on these dots here and then drag the questions, whatever you want them. Yeah. And here you can also add your own questions. So if you go to the bottom right corner, there is this button here that says add new. So we click on this and then you click on view. So let's move this question higher up. Oh, where's my question? Right question. So you click on view and here you can write the question. Yeah. You can also insert images or other files from your Google Drive by clicking here. Yeah. And here you can write the solution as well. Yeah. Okay. So the fourth step is to generate the test. So there are different ways you can generate these tests. One would be by choosing one of these options, student version or teacher version. Obviously, this version has the answers, is the answer key. Now, if we click on print, you will be downloading a PDF file, right? So let's click on print. And then we get the test here. We open it, and here we can see the test. Because we downloaded the teacher's version, we get the one with the answer key. Yeah. Alternatively, you can click here on this button that says Save for Word. Yeah. So if you click on it, you'll be able to download a Word version of your test, which means that you will be able to manually edit some of the answers, or some of the questions if you see fit. You'll be able to change the font. You'll be able to add your school's logo. So basically, it's a version of the test that you can manipulate. Yeah, so it's particularly useful. Now, we also have this option here, which is to reset the test, or this option to save the draft in case you want to save your test and then finish it off later. Yeah. All right. So that's the test generator. As you can see, this is a pretty powerful tool in order for you to be able to make your own tests. So that's the teacher's kit. And finally, we have this option, My Community. So what you have here is basically like little booklet PDF files where you get information about all the different autonomous communities in Spain. And also with information, I think, let's have a look at one. It has information about the world, about Europe, and about each autonomous community in Spain. So as you can see here, sorry, Europe, then Spain, and then finally the autonomous community. Let me just have a quick look. In this case, Andalusia, which is the one I randomly picked. Now you can download the first one, which is Explore Maps and Facts, and here you would be downloading a booklet with all of the different autonomous communities. You also get here some blank maps. So if you choose Andalusia, for example, we click on blank maps, and you get to download a blank map of Europe, Spain, and Andalusia in this particular case. Yeah. Okay, and that is the digital platform. Or something I wanted to show you as well is this option here, My Track Records. Yeah. So as you could see, we have interactive content activities, interactive language activities. So if we log in as a student, here I have an account that's already been logged in. So this is a student account. Yeah. And as students, as a student here, I would have these options. So I have the book, my community, content activities, language activities, flashcards, presentations, and family corner. Yeah. So if we go, for example, to interactive content activities, and we open one activity, let's say activity 7, and we enter. Yeah. We can see that I've done it before. So let's get it wrong this time. So I've attempted this twice, and this time I got 0 answers right. Yeah. So that's what this student has done. They've done these exercises. Let's do exercise 8 as well. The head, which will be wrong. Okay, etc. Right. So we've got this. So this is a student that has been assigned to a class. Yeah. So if we go into my, this is again the teacher's view. If I go into my classes and I click on Natural Science 3, I can see that Alex Gomez is in this class. Yeah. So if I go into my track records, I choose the class, which in this case is Natural Science 3, and I choose the book. Here I am able to see all the exercises that my students have done. So in this particular case, I'm going to have a look at Alex Gomez, and I can see that he has tried all these exercises. Yeah. So if I look at exercise, this one, for example, exercise 3, I can see he has tried this exercise 3 times. Yeah. So I can see the first attempt where he got 100%. I can see the second attempt by clicking on view, and I can see that here he didn't click on anything. And I can see the third attempt, and he got it all right again. Yeah. So you can see each of the different attempts that your students have had at a particular exercise. Yeah. You can also send them a message. So you can write here. So for example, well done, Alex. Send a message. So next time Alex logs into that account, he'll be able to see the message when he has a look at this particular exercise. Yeah. So that would be in my track records. So all you have to do here is choose your class. Again, choose the book that you're using with your students. Obviously, because this is a demo account, you have a lot of books, but in your account, you would only have the books that you're using. And here you'll be able to see all the different exercises that your students have done in the different parts of the book. Yeah. And that's basically the digital platform. So I don't know if you guys have any questions. Let me have a look at the chat. Okay. Carmen is asking here whether there is a possibility to download all the audios or songs of all the different units, because she sometimes doesn't have internet connection. What I would suggest, if you don't have internet connection, is to download the offline version of the book. So as I showed you with my iPad before, all you have to do is, well, if you have a tablet, you can just download the offline version of the book in your tablet, or you can also do it, you can download a version for Windows or for Mac or Linux. So you can just use the offline version, and there you'll be able to access all the different audios from the book. Now, if you want to download the songs, let me just show you very quickly here. All you have to do is go into Learning Kit, Songs, and then click here, Download All. So you click on Download All, you'll get, as you will see here, a zip file that if you open it, has all the different songs from all the different units. Let me just turn off my screen share. Okay, Kristen is asking how to add students to a class. There is no way for the teacher to add students to the class. Basically what the teacher does is that, let me just show you very quickly here. Okay, so what the teacher would do, would go into my classes, they would have a class. So in this case, again, let's add a class. Let's call this demo class. Oh, I already called the class demo class. Demo class 2. And here it is. And now I have this class code. So what the teacher has to do is they need to give the student this class code. Yeah, and then they'll be able to join the class. In order to do so, what the student would have to do, let me show you with this particular account, Alex's account. Yeah, so this is a student account. So if I go into my classes, here I click on add a class. Again, I click, I add the code that the teacher gave me before. I click on activate. Now I am part of that class as well. So if I click here on refresh, just bear with me for a second, I can see that demo class 2 has 1 student, which in this case is Alex Gomez. So that's how we add students, but we can't manually add them. Do we need to link ByME to our existing classroom, or is it a new one created through ByME? You would have to link it to one existing classroom. So you make the classroom before, and then when you click on the little Google Classroom button, you'll be able to choose the class that you have created inside your Google account. I don't know. Let me just have a scroll through the chat to see if there are any more questions. Okay, I've been sent a private question, which is if I can go through how to make a custom flashcard again. Of course, just all you have to do to create a flashcard. Let me share my screen again. Okay, you go to the main menu, you go to Learning Kit. Let me just go from the beginning. So this is the main menu. We go to Learning Kit and flashcards. So let me delete this and make it again. What you need to do is you need to click on the plus sign here on the bottom right corner. Then you can create, here, as I said before, you can create a set using your own images, or you can create a set using template cards. So in this case, we wanted to create a set using our own images. Here you add a name, so let's call it instruments. And here you can add the images that you have previously downloaded. So if you click here on guitar, we add a guitar. And let's add here a piano. Now, by using these two buttons, you can record the word, so your students then will have access to how the word is pronounced. Actually, I forgot to mention, if you don't record the word, then your students will be able to listen to a kind of robotic version of how the word should be pronounced. Yeah. And then you click here on save. Then you click on these three buttons, and then you can share the set of flashcards with the class that you would like to share it with. So in this case, Natural Science 3, and share. Now, you can also here click on these three buttons. You can edit and then add more flashcards by clicking on the plus sign here. So again, let's click on add an image, type file in. Oops. And then click on save. And again, and now all the students will have access to the three flashcards, in this particular case, to this set of flashcards. Yeah. So let me see. Okay. Okay, I've been asked if I can repeat how to download all the audios. Yeah. So as I was saying before, if you want to download the audio files from the book, I would suggest you download the offline version of the book. In order to download the offline version of the book, you would go to the main menu, go to offline option. Yeah. And here you can download a version for Windows, for Mac, or for Linux. Yeah. Now, if you download this, then you log in, and then you'll be able to synchronize the book that you have with your device. Yeah. So let me see. Maybe I can share this again. Let me show you. Let me see if I can. This is still working. Just bear with me for a second. I think now you can see my screen. So as you can see here, if you open the app, yeah. Let me see here. You will have access. Basically, this is an offline version of the book. I don't need internet access in order to be able to see this. And if I click here on this exercise, yeah, I can play the audio. So we'll automatically download the audio as well as one second. Oops. Yes. So here you have the same player, and you can play the audio as you would in the normal online option. Yeah. So this is for iPad, but if you download the same thing for Windows, then it's exactly the same. So you'll be able to access all the audio files from your Windows app. Yeah. Oh, and to download the songs, sorry, we go into Learning Kit, then you go into Songs. And you can download them individually by just clicking on these files, or you can click on Download All, and it will download a zip file with all the songs that, when you open it, will be divided into units. So you'll be able to kind of play them individually if that's what you want to do. Okay. Okay, guys. There are a couple of things I wanted to show you as well. First of all, before we wrap up, yep. If you go to the main ByME website, which I'm going to write in the chat, I'm going to type the link. Just bear with me for a second. There you have it. So if you click on that link, you'll be able to see all the different webinars that we have for this term. Yep. So I would suggest that you go. Today's webinar. Oh, great. Thank you, Carmen. Yes, there is an offline option. Today's webinar was about using the digital platform, but there will be other webinars that will touch other methodological things. So just to show you very quickly, some of the topics that we'll be covering for primary, for example. We have a very interesting webinar by Paulo Prey on scaffolding learning, 6 strategies to use with learners in online settings. We'll have on-campus and online settings for the 21st century students by Joe Trino. Then we've got this one by Paloma Garcia, El Ecualizador de la Voz. So I suggest that you have a look at these sessions that we have available for you. They're all for free, and I would encourage you to sign up. Yeah. Now, there is one more thing as well. We've made tutorial videos that will explain all the digital platform. So in case you have any questions about any of the things that we saw today, if you go to, let me share my screen again. If you go to bilingualbyme.com and you go into digital and you click on video tutorials, here you'll be able to see all the different things that we saw today. So for example, if you click here, you'll be able to see how to use the digital platform. These are all YouTube videos. Yeah. If you click here on natural and social science learn together, then you'll be able to see how to use all the different options that we saw in today's session as well. So if you have any questions, you can always go to our website and you'll be able to see how all the different things are done. So do you guys have any other questions? No? Okay, so thank you very much for taking the time to come to today's session. I've really enjoyed doing it. I hope you guys enjoyed it and that you learned something new about the digital platform for ByME. If you guys have any questions, you can always go to our website, www.bilingualbyme.com. There we keep posting new things for teachers all the time, so I would encourage you that you have a look at it often. And thank you very much for your time, and bye-bye. See you soon.